The psychology of constantly comparing yourself to others is built on a deep lack of inner support when a person uses other people as the main mirror to understand their own value. This mental habit often begins early, especially if childhood love felt conditional. If praise came only after achievement, if mistakes were punished with shame, or if parents compared you to siblings or classmates. Over time, your brain learns a dangerous rule. I am only safe when I'm better than someone, or at least not worse. So even as an adult, you may not be able to feel your worth directly. You look outward, scanning people's lives like a scoreboard, trying to locate yourself on it. At the core of this is a natural survival instinct. Human brains evolved in groups where status mattered because status meant protection, resources, and belonging. The mind still runs that old software. It constantly asks, "Where am I on the ladder?" But modern life completely distorts the system. You are no longer comparing yourself to 10 people in your village. You are comparing yourself to thousands of strangers online, to edited highlight reels, to influencers, to rich people, to perfect bodies, to careers that are shown only at their peak. Your nervous system treats it like real competition, even when none of it is relevant to your life. And that's why comparison today doesn't motivate most people. It slowly breaks them down. You can feel it in the smallest moments. You open your phone for 1 second and see someone traveling, dating, buying something expensive, getting promoted, improving their body, launching a business. And instantly, your chest tightens. You didn't choose to feel that. Your brain did it automatically. Because comparison isn't just a thought, it's a full body signal. It triggers the stress system like your identity is under threat. The mind doesn't say, "Nice for them." It says, "Why not you? What's wrong with you? You're behind." And in that moment, you don't feel like a person. You feel like a score. This is why constant comparison is exhausting. It doesn't stay inside one area. It spreads into everything. If someone is smarter, you feel stupid. If someone is more attractive, you feel invisible. If someone has more money, you feel trapped. If someone seems happier, you feel broken. And the worst part is that comparison often ignores reality. You compare your behind the scenes to someone else's best scene. Your private fears, doubts, messy days, slow progress against their best photo, best achievement, best angle. You don't compare fairly, and your brain doesn't care. It just reacts. There are two main psychological engines behind this habit. The first one is insecurity. Not the loud kind, but the quiet kind that lives underneath your personality. When you don't have a stable inner sense of worth, you look for it outside. The second one is anxiety. Comparison is often an attempt to predict danger. The brain compares to figure out where you stand and whether you're safe. It's like your mind is constantly checking. Am I falling behind? Will I be rejected? Will I be seen as less? That means comparison isn't vanity. It's fear. One of the most important things to understand is that comparison creates short bursts of motivation but long-term emotional damage. Sometimes you see someone doing better and you feel that quick hit of pressure. I need to work harder. I need to improve. And for a moment, it feels productive. But later, it becomes bitterness, shame, and self-hate. Because the deeper message isn't grow. The deeper message is, you are not enough. And when your mind repeats that every day, it starts to shape your identity. If you've ever had a moment where you achieved something and still didn't feel happy, comparison is usually the reason. You get the thing you wanted, but you look around and see someone else with something better. So your brain doesn't allow satisfaction. It moves the finish line. That is one of the cruelest effects. Comparison destroys your ability to feel progress. You could be improving every month, but your nervous system still feels like you're losing because someone else is ahead in a different race. This mindset often comes from childhood patterns. If you grew up in an environment where approval was linked to performance, your brain learned to chase external validation as a form of safety. Maybe your parents didn't mean harm, but they used comparison as motivation. Why can't you be like him? Look how she studies. Your cousin is already successful. As a child, you can't argue back. You don't think, that's a flawed parenting method. You think, I'm not enough. And then you build a personality around trying to finally become enough. This is also why comparison is often paired with perfectionism, because perfectionism is the promise your brain makes to you. If I become perfect, I won't feel inferior anymore. But perfection is not a destination. It's an addiction. It doesn't give peace. It gives temporary relief. You fix one area and your mind instantly finds another. Your skin, your body, your job, your money, your skills, your relationships. The brain always finds something else to measure. That's how you know it's not about improvement. It's about control. Comparison also grows stronger when your life feels uncertain. If you don't have clear goals, if you feel lost, if you don't trust your direction, your mind will automatically use other people as navigation. You start living by other people's timelines. They got married at 24. They bought a house at 27. They started earning good money at 22. And suddenly your life feels late, even if you're still building. Your brain panics because it thinks you're running out of time. But time pressure is not always real. It's often borrowed from someone else's story. And here's the dark truth. The more you compare, the less you live. Comparison steals attention, and attention is life. If your brain is always scanning other people, you can't fully be in your own experience. You can't enjoy your wins because you're checking someone else's wins. You can't rest because you feel guilty. You can't be present because you're mentally competing. You become a spectator of your own life, watching it through the lens of how it looks compared to others. Social media makes this 10 times worse because it trains your brain like a machine. Every scroll is a micro-comparison. Every post is a subtle message. This is what a good life looks like. And your brain absorbs it without permission. The mind doesn't see content as entertainment. It sees it as social information. It learns standards. It learns what gets praised. It learns what looks impressive. So you start performing your life even privately. You pick goals not because you want them, but because they look respectable. This leads to a common trap. You start becoming successful in ways that don't make you happy. You chase things that are not aligned with your personality, values, or real desires. And then, even if you achieve them, you still feel empty. Because it wasn't your dream. It was someone else's dream that you copied to feel safe in the eyes of people you don't even know. A real-life example. Imagine someone who starts going to the gym because they want to feel stronger and healthier. At first, it's positive. But then they start comparing their body to someone online. Suddenly, the gym isn't about health anymore. It becomes a court. Every mirror becomes a judge. Progress becomes invisible because the brain is measuring against an unrealistic standard. And what started as self-care turns into self-criticism. Not because exercise is bad, but because comparison rewired the purpose. Another example. Someone who starts a business or career path and at first feels excited, but then they see someone younger earning more, traveling more, posting wins every day. So their brain starts thinking, I'm failing. And then they work from stress, not passion. They burn out, lose creativity, and feel ashamed. Comparison turns growth into survival mode. And survival mode is not where your best ideas live. So what is actually happening in the brain during comparison? There's a part of the mind that constantly evaluates threats and social standing. When you see someone doing better, your brain can interpret it as a status threat. That triggers stress chemicals and makes you hyper-focused on what you lack. Your attention narrows, your inner critic gets louder, and your nervous system becomes tense. That's why comparison often comes with irritation, jealousy, numbness, or the urge to prove yourself. It's not just emotions. It's your body preparing for competition. At the same time, comparison activates reward circuits. When you feel above someone, you get a small hit of relief. When you feel below someone, you feel pain. This creates an addiction loop. Your brain keeps checking other people to regulate your self-esteem, like constantly checking the weather because you're scared it might rain. The problem is that the weather is always changing, so your self-worth becomes unstable. One moment you feel confident, next moment you feel crushed. Your identity becomes reactive. This is why people who compare a lot often feel tired, distracted, and mentally noisy. Their mind is never at rest. It's like having 10 tabs open in your brain, all running the same background program. Am I good enough? Am I behind? Am I impressive? That constant checking uses energy. It steals your ability to focus. It also makes you less creative because creativity needs safety. But comparison keeps you in danger mode. Now the big question: how do you escape it without becoming delusional or arrogant? The goal is not to stop noticing other people. The goal is to stop using them as your measurement of worth. Because comparing is normal. The toxic part is when it becomes your identity. The first shift is understanding that comparison is often a signal, not a truth. When you feel that sting after seeing someone's success, it doesn't mean you're worthless. It means you touched an insecurity. It means there's a desire inside you, or a fear, or an old wound. Instead of obeying the comparison, you can study it. Ask yourself, what exactly did this trigger? What am I afraid of? What does my brain think I'm losing? The second shift is building internal validation. People who don't compare as much aren't magically confident. They have a stable relationship with their own values. They know what matters to them. They know their direction. When you have a direction, other people become inspiration, not a threat. But when you don't have a direction, other people become pressure. Internal validation isn't a motivational quote. It's a skill. It's the ability to notice your effort, your growth, your intentions, not just outcomes. It's the ability to say, I'm proud of myself for showing up, even when the results aren't perfect. And yes, at first your brain will reject it. It will say it's weak. Because if you were trained on external approval, internal validation feels fake. But it becomes real through repetition, like strengthening a muscle. The third shift is changing what you compare. Your brain will compare anyway, so you guide it. You make the comparison useful. Instead of comparing your life to other people, compare your present self to your past self. Compare your habits, not your status. Compare your consistency, not your peak moments. Because growth is not a snapshot. It's a trend line. The fourth shift is controlling your environment. If your brain is constantly exposed to unrealistic standards, you will compare more. Not because you are weak, but because you are human. The mind learns what it sees. Curate your feed. Reduce content that triggers shame. Follow people who talk about process, not only results. Take breaks from scrolling when you feel your self-esteem dropping. This is not avoidance. This is emotional hygiene. The fifth shift is learning to tolerate being average in some areas without seeing it as failure. This is hard for high achievers. But freedom begins when you stop expecting yourself to be exceptional in everything. You can be good at one thing and normal in another. You can be in progress. You can be slower than someone and still be moving in the right direction. Your worth doesn't depend on being the best. It depends on being real. And here's a final truth that changes everything. There will always be someone ahead of you in something. Always. So if your happiness depends on being ahead, you will never arrive. The finish line will always move. But if your happiness depends on alignment, living a life that fits your values, your pace, your personality, then you win even when other people shine brighter. So if you're the kind of person who compares yourself to everyone, don't shame yourself for it. You're not broken. Your brain is trying to protect you, using an old strategy that no longer works in the modern world. It's trying to find safety in status. But your real safety is built from self-respect, direction, and a nervous system that learns to rest. Start small. The next time you feel that comparison sting, don't fight it. Notice it, name it, and then gently return to your path. Not because you're pretending other people don't exist, but because you are done living as a reaction to them. Because the moment you stop measuring your life by someone else's ruler, you don't just feel calmer. You finally become free enough to build something that is yours.